This is Anita Alexandra, and welcome to 5-Element Personality Paradigms, Navigating Relationships. In this podcast, I'm going to share my observations and opinions of President Trump, Dr. Fauci, and Governor Cuomo regarding the coronavirus pandemic and its management. If you need some background information about the 5 elements and this system, please listen to Podcast 1, The Basics. President Trump's approach to the coronavirus pandemic displays his usual need and demands for attention. He places himself in the media daily with his opinions, hopes, and gut feelings, ignoring most of what is fact or the opinions of other experts and professionals around him. He changes his story a lot from one day to the next, sometimes saying the exact opposite of what he promoted the day before. It's clear to see that he supports the opening of the country to promote the economy and does not tend to defer to others in their opinions based on scientific fact and data, which supports the need to contain the virus and see better outcomes and lower numbers in cases and deaths before the economy can safely be opened. I see both wood and fire traits in this presentation. President Trump presents with a lot of wood personality traits. Unfortunately, most of these are corrupted wood traits. He's often defensive in his personality, and he goes on the attack. His competitive desire to win at all costs is expressed in his reckless disregard of his advisors and his ability to ignore and dismiss early information that came to his attention about the potential threat of the virus. His objectives appear monodimensional, as he claims all credit for the health of the economy since he took office. He cannot control the virus, so he reinvents the truth or twists information to support what he wants to happen, to paint a picture in which he is the leader and the star and the one deserving accolades and approval. This moves his wood traits into the corrupt fire zone. The next set of traits in President Trump, and probably his primary element, is fire. He's a salesman at his core, a pushy fire personality trait. He has a type of charisma that is unique to his personality, which allows him to stand on the podium day after day spewing nonsense through repetition that makes its way into acceptance by others. We are all conditioned at some level due to repetitive information being hammered into us until it's automatic, even defended without question. His brand of salesmanship reminds me of a pharmaceutical commercial. A new drug is now on the market. One announcement rapidly states the side effects. The rest of the commercial displays endless images and takes enthusiastic testimonials from real or imagined people who now have health and better relationships and quality of life, all implying the eradication of the disease. There's a disconnect between the presentation and the potential risk versus benefits, which must be determined between you and your doctor at a later date. In a spirit of fairness, most politicians have a lot of wood traits. They're ambitious, controlling, high achievers, competitive, and strategic in taking action that will accomplish their goals. They direct others on their staff to support this goal and engage the public in following them. They talk others into believing them. They are great public orators. President Trump continues to fall a trait short in this arena. He is a leader, but he lacks healthy leadership qualities. He's autocratic. He doesn't listen to or discern the information given to him. He doesn't seek the opinions or heed the advice of others who are more educated and experienced on certain issues, and this makes him a fire out of control. He appears to inspire fear in his staff, as they are concerned about going against even a blatant deceit coming from him, or even when he is dangerous in his musings, opinions, and spin on the facts. He appears autocratic in decision-making, even when he doesn't have constitutional authority to do so. This blatant disregard for anyone else's authority is a defensiveness found in wood, combined with an egotistical narcissism found in fire. One of the most powerful and potentially destructive combinations in a 5-element placement is wood with fire, because fire ruins wood's ability to behave rationally, to take time planning and building with a future goal in mind. Fire lacks the kind of patience and foresight that wood could have in achieving its goals in a way that serves more than itself. Corrupt fire flares up. It talks too much. It spins stories and is self-aggrandizing when no success has been achieved. Corrupt fire will take all the attention it can extract. Even negative attention fuels its flames and need for attention. It steals the limelight by taking credit for the ideas and work of others, and deceives the public by focusing on one aspect of an issue that appears to put them in a favorable light, while downplaying anything else that might get in the way of this, and will do so even if lying outright is necessary to accomplish the goal. Fire craves praise. A lot of people with an ice to Eskimo sales ethic and delivery have a lot of strong fire traits. In this, there is a basic lack of responsibility, which is a corrupted earth trait. At this point, I have been unable to locate the more useful, analytical, and rational traits of metal, or the more authentic humanitarian and meditative aspects of water. But I do see a third element in Trump that comes into play. This is his earth trait of love of finance and endless interest in accumulating business and making all matters related to finance at the center of his life and his hope for the nation. This is positive because money does make the world go around. And we are literally going nowhere right now because of our inability to support the wheels that turn the economy. The fear factor in this is also an earth trait because earth craves material security. This causes the earth personality to become insecure and underconfident, which in this instance probably calls upon fire traits even more to put on a brave face, hiding shame and inadequacies that cause him to look like a failure in the eyes of the world, because his own image appears to be more precious to him than any other concern. We'd have to check the box that says, doesn't play well with others, if asked to do so. And this takes us back to the primary element of wood and its over-controlling and self-righteous character traits. Just keep in mind that there's a time and a place for everything to shine, and in another situation, these traits might create success. On the next front, we have Dr. Fauci. Obviously intelligent enough to hold a medical degree and lifetime career in an esteemed organization. He gets some metal traits right out of the gate. Metal is the logical mind. It deals with rational thinking and statistics, evidence, and facts. It's probably safe to say that if most politicians display a lot of wood characteristics, then physicians possess a great deal of metal. They study the systems of the body and understand their function down to the cellular level. They retain information and dispense it. They categorically make diagnosis from disseminating that information. Dr. Fauci appears to have deep concern for the health of the nation and the world, so there is compassion as well as logic. Remember that some traits can express quite differently in each element. So compassion can come from several primary elements. In this instance, I'm calling it an earth element trait because he's concerned with the well-being of the whole. He's patient and methodical and is moving forward slowly in his assessments and recommendations. He is also struggling with what he knows in his area of expertise and how to not offend or step on the toes of the reigning president's ego. Losing his job will call into play the fear that comes from financial security found in earth. When he's not exercising this level of caution, his ability to stand up for what he believes is found in wood. Courage isn't an absence of fear. It's the ability to face it. Earth is inclusive. It can see the world as a family that needs to be united and cared for, especially in the support of healthcare workers and the risks they are taking for others. Earth is loyal, thoughtful, and considerate. It doesn't abandon ship. So even in the face of criticism, he treads lightly and holds to his verified truths, recedes when necessary, and comes forth again to hold his ground. His reputation is intact, and he has a long history of integrity. There is some water in this gathering of strength. So what is more courageous, scripting and bullying someone for not agreeing with you or standing up for something, even though there are negative consequences? The third and my current favorite example of a more comprehensive personality paradigm is Governor Cuomo. Keeping in mind that all politicians are or become strong in wood element traits, he expresses these traits in a most positive manner. He took decisive and deliberate action to inform the public in a consistent, reliable, and fact-based daily briefing, which is wood. He has done this through a water trait that believes in people to synthesize the information and act accordingly for the benefit of all, a basic faith in humanity. He has appealed to the intelligence and compassion of New Yorkers to do what he calls the right thing, and this is nurturing in the guise of faith and empowerment. Water and earth traits. His methodical perseverance comes from earth energy, as well as his ability to work the numbers toward a future financial recovery. He knows what is going on, he knows where resources are, and he knows how to distribute what he has available to get it to the right places. That is Earth's distribution system at its best. He also expresses strongly through metal in his concise dispensation of information and the use of charts and graphs to systemize the dynamic data that he is receiving daily. He speaks in an intelligent and rational tone of voice. He is doing his best to keep emotion and politics out of it in an attempt at unification, a higher goal. This is both a metal trait and a water trait. His knowledge of law and the Constitution is also metal. In the face of adversity, such as the president's outright lying and denying, immediately followed by his 180-degree turns on information, he shows an acceptable amount of Wood's tendency toward frustration. He's human, and that adversity is an uncooperative and distracting impediment to the plan that serves the many. His blend of honesty regarding the tragedy and hardship is delivered with an even blunt rationality based upon the currently known facts, served up with a side of strength, hope, and a way out through unity, which expresses water in wood. He seems able to grasp all of the pieces of the challenge, from the beginning, through the middle, and into a future plan of action, sequentially through prioritizing one step at a time, one day at a time, with an ability to synthesize the new information as it comes to him, probably hourly. That is the presentation of a strong union between wood and metal. It might appear that the courage to undertake what he is facing by virtue of his job during this period in history is exclusively from the wood element. But I suspect that his motives also emerge from the more soulful energy found in water and the protection of family, faith, and tradition found in earth. Regarding President Trump, wood and fire are fierce adversaries, and you really wouldn't want to tangle with them as a united front, because if they can destroy each other, then think of what they could destroy together. But as Dr. Fauci is brought into play, remember this. Earth is patient, methodical, persevering, and able to sacrifice in order to achieve a goal that serves the good of a group. His presentation may not look at its best one day. He may not be presenting a popular view, and it may look as if he's not getting through to the public. But as time rolls pedantically on, and more is revealed, the wisdom of his caution and the facts will continue to unfold and build a tower of understanding which support mental and emotional intelligence and long-term direction for us all. When you think about it, the difference between a fire-inspired wood personality and a metal-inspired earth personality in this scenario might end up looking a lot like the tortoise that wins the race while the hare accidentally sets itself on fire. I encourage you to look past the excessive authority the president is exercising on Dr. Fauci and look to the facts and recommendations as they come forward from him. No one wants to lose their job, and for him that would mean losing an essential voice in this conflict of information and direction, so he must continue to tread lightly. Although he may not have the loudest voice of the two, he has a very significant one. As for Governor Cuomo, he is in the race to the end. He appears to be looking for solutions and support, not the usual win-at-all-cost characteristics of the wood personality. Trump won't back down. He'll just keep sliding around, while Governor Cuomo continues to attempt holding the higher ground and to keep from a head-on collision with the president. His metal principles regarding justice and fairness came spilling forth recently in response to Mitch McConnell's recommendation that his state declare bankruptcy instead of receiving the assistance they need and have earned through the prior accomplishment of New York's prosperous economy. So, patience is wearing, but what wood and metal personality pairing would not stand up to injustice at these levels? He is still an excellent example of what is possible when a wood personality expresses from a more mature place of development that one would naturally expect from a leader. In closing, let's send our prayers and support out to each of them, as we can't really imagine what an overwhelming hardship it must be to be responsible for so much and so many under these circumstances. In my next podcast, I discuss the coronavirus and COVID-19. For further information on 5-element personality assessment and to take the free personality assessment, please visit www.architectinhealth.com. Thanks for listening.